What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence Owen. This is Colts Law, and we are back. We are back live streaming straight from Indiana to talk to you guys about your Indianapolis Colts and tomorrow's game against the Los Angeles Rams. Holy crap. Now, as you may know, I already dropped out a preview. We recorded it on Thursday, myself and Donald Thomas. So we didn't have all the information from the injury report. I mean, good Lord, it looked like to us on Thursday, we were good across the offensive line. Looked like Ryan Kelly was going to get through. Looked like, everybody was going to play, right? And then on Friday, Ryan Kelly started having concussion symptoms again and failed. And then somehow, Bernard Ryman. What? Bernard Ryman just all of a sudden showed up with freaking concussion symptoms? Ryan, you ain't supposed to spread this. I mean, concussions aren't like the flu. You can't share dinner with somebody and give it to somebody. But apparently, if you're an offensive lineman for the Indianapolis Colts, you can. Okay, that's odd. I hope Ryman's okay. I hope everything's good. It must have happened during practice. Maybe they were out there playing really, really physical, right? Maybe they were out there practicing because they're going to need to be very, very physical in this game against the Rams. And because of that, oh my, there's going to be a lot to talk about here because this offensive line is not looking good. Let's go through the injury report right now, right? DeForest Buckner hadn't practiced all week because of a groin and a back injury. Now, odds are that was mostly rest. He's listed as questionable. I expect him to go tomorrow. Dallas Flowers, I don't even know why he's listed on the list. It's not even listed as an injury on there in full practice all week. He's going. Ryan Kelly, of course, we already talked about the concussion, 2 full practices, then did not practice and out, right? Quentin Nelson had a toe, hadn't practiced until Friday, and then full practice. Well, guess what? Last week, he did the exact same daggone thing. All right. Still played with the toe. Surely he's getting better with it. And I think he played okay. So I'm good there. A lot of people want to make a big deal about Braden Smith showing up also on Friday. Did not practice due to a hand injury. Right. But it's not as bad as people think it out to be because he's not even designated on the injury report as questionable or out or doubtful or probable. There's no designation, which means he's good to go. I'm good there. Grover Stewart, again, he's on there. He didn't practice. Maybe it was just a rest. Maybe he got a little bit of an ankle tweak. I can't remember exactly. I remember they said something about it, but he's undesignated, which means he's good to go. Okay. So the good thing is Anthony Richardson is going to play. Because there's so little tape about Anthony Richardson, I'd love to see him out there playing against. And people want to talk about, oh, you don't want him against Aaron Donald and this bad offensive line. Well, I'll tell you what, that is a problem. That is a bit of a problem. But at the same time, like we talked about on Thursday's preview show, Donald is not the same guy from 2019. He's still a stud. He's still a top 5 defensive tackle in the league, right? I mean, he's getting paid $30 million for a reason. Okay. Or yeah, $30 million a year. So obviously he's still a stud out there. Okay. But who just texted me? I'll get back to you later. All right. If I don't, yeah, whatever. Man, there's a problem here because honestly, I think Wesley French played okay against the Ravens. The Ravens got a pretty darn good defensive line, right? I'm worried a little bit about Freeland. All right. I'm a little worried there at the offensive tackle backing up where Bernard's going to be missing. That's my worry. All right. The good thing is, for the most part, Richardson likes to look that direction first. Even though that's considered blind side, he generally looks in that direction first through his progression. So he will see if something screwed up happens and be able to do something quickly. All right, like take off the other way or something, Oh no, Aaron Donald's coming at me, go that way. All right, go that way. Or, make sure you have a tackle over there or a tight end or something to help out, with Freeland. That way he's, got some help. All right. You don't want to have Quentin Nelson looking to his left consistently all day. You want him to be able to handle the guy in front of him, because that guy in front of him might be Aaron freaking Donald. All right. You want him to be playing at his best. Same with Will Fries, who has, and I've told you this all year, Will Fries has played a very, very good. And I thought he was going to be very, very good when I saw him out there at training camp. I was like, this dude has gotten bigger. He looks more comfortable. He's playing better. And right now he's one of the best rated blockers on our offensive line. Him and Bernard Ryman, right? The two youngsters. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm worried about French because he is young. And then we're going to have Anthony Richardson at quarterback. So two very inexperienced guys who, are inexperienced at an NFL level, recognizing NFL lineups, NFL blitzes, and stuff of that nature. And that worries me. That worries me because those calls ain't coming in from the coach going, hey, watch out for the 3 tech, or hey, the safety's look like he's sneaking down for a blitz. The coach ain't doing that over the mic. All right. He's not doing that because he doesn't have a proper view as the quarterback has. It's the quarterback and the center's job to do that. And that's what makes me a little bit worried. Okay. But at the same time, this defense for the Rams, outside of Aaron Donald, does not scare me at all. Not one little bit. I feel like the Colts can still run the ball well against this team and still open up play action pass or RPO pass with Anthony Richardson. All right. I feel like Zach Moss should have another 100-yard game. I feel like there should be a couple shots downfield. And in all honesty, the thing that worries me is whether or not, Matthew Stafford. I'm more worried about Matthew Stafford getting in a rhythm with his young receiving core than I am anything else. All right. That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm worried about. Because if we could get Matthew Stafford on his back foot, throwing off his back foot and worried about pressure all the time, we can get some turnovers. The Colts really haven't given up the ball we're winning the turnover battle. That's a good thing. As long as we don't have another game like we had last year against the Patriots, I think we're going to be fine. All right. I still got the Colts winning this game by, 4 or 5 points. That's what I got the Colts sitting at. I had them winning by a larger chunk than that. I know that a lot of people are worried. The pick'ems right now are kind of even across national media. I'm seeing a lot of people picking the Rams. I'm seeing a lot of people picking the Colts. The injury report has really kind of swayed the way a lot of people are picking right now. But for the most part, I still like where the Colts are sitting. I still like where the Colts are sitting. So, guys, let's get into the comments. I'm going to sit here for about next 10, 15, 20 minutes. And we're going to get into the comments, talk about some of your statements, your questions, bring up what you want. I will definitely get to what I can. If you want to make sure that your question or comment is definitely answered, feel free to use a super chat. Use the link in the description as well. Feel free to do that. We'll get into that really, really quick. I've got it all pulled up and ready just in case. Also, guys, I just dropped another film room on my Patreon. Okay. The Indianapolis Colts, Gus Bradley's defense, blitzed 17 times against the Ravens. Lamar Jackson had 7 completions against 17 blitzes. All right. So I broke down every single pass blitz that the Colts did on all 22. It's on my Patreon. You can go check that out. Link is in the description. Join my Patreon. You can watch it. It's the second one that I dropped. I dropped 2 for only Patreon every single month. All right, guys, let's get into the questions, comments, stuff like that. First off, I want to say thanks, Migsby, Speed, Reserve, Brayton, all you guys, Binge, Mikey, what's up? Appreciate you being here. All of you guys, thanks so much. Make sure you smash that like button. All right. Speed, straight up. I haven't anticipated a game like this in a while. A chance to open up the division lead. Right? When was the last time the Colts started the season off 3-1? And this was supposed to be a year that a lot of people said the Colts ain't going to win but 4 games. The Colts start out 3-1. That's going to be sick. That's going to be sick. Reserve's a little excited about Anthony being back, I would say, a little bit. Brayton says, my biggest concern with Freeland was power, so hopefully LA doesn't have a power edge defender. They've got a couple. But we'll see. Oh, you didn't know about Bernard. Yeah, he just, out of nowhere, just on Friday. Oh, I think I got a concussion, right? Which leads me to think that they must have practiced really, really hard. And I want them to practice really, really. They need to practice the way they want to play, right? You know that physicality that we saw from the Colts against the Ravens? The way Zaire Franklin was out there taking no shit from anyone, right? Got so upset with Lamar, he just grabbed his leg and threw it out the side after he tackled him. The way Michael Pittman Jr. jumped up and caught that ball with people living inside of his face mask, right? And still came down with it without his helmet. That's the kind of physicality, right, that I want this team to practice with. I understand you're going to see an injury list, bam, but at least it's preparing their bodies for games. And you're going to see it. They're going to be used to it all year long. That will produce into tough battles like what we had against the Ravens. You know, that's how you win those kind of games. We're going to need 2 tight ends out there, Lawrence. We've been playing with 2 tight ends most of the time. All right. And I said that at the beginning of the year that, you know, the Colts are going to have a lot of 2 and 3 tight end sets, and they have. See, interesting. There was no injury report right out of the Ravens game, and then this. Well, they did have an injury report, just not on the Colts homepage. They did the same thing the week before, right, against the Texans. But they dropped their injury report on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. They do it every Friday and, you know, every practice day, stuff like that. And I keep track, obviously. Obviously, I keep track. Reserve says, I think the Colts rushed for 200-plus yards this week. That could be something. I mean, if Moss could get 100 and AR could get, if Moss could get 100, that means the AR is going to be left open on a few of his keepers, right? And like I said on Thursday, there should be some plays where he's just out in the open field, just racing people. I want him to slide and get down or duck out of bounds or whatever if need be. But there's people out there saying AR is injury prone already. Really? He banged his knee on the turf. Week 1. Banged his knee on the turf. That could happen to anybody at any time. Week 2, he lands and hits his head on the back on the ground. That could happen during a sack or a late hit or anything of that nature. That's something that happens to anybody. I don't think he's injury prone whatsoever. All right. Big dude, big body. Maybe learn how to roll after taking a hit like that. That might help a little. You know, tuck down, let your butt hit, and then roll back, you know, fully. He tried that, but his head whiplashed and whacked, and that's not a good thing. What up, Mikey? Appreciate you being in here, like I said. Always good to have you in. Can the Colts beat the blitz that will most likely be challenging the reserves? Honestly, yes. Look, Anthony Richardson, his first 6 quarters showed that he can read and react and release very, very quickly. Okay? That's the thing I like about Anthony Richardson. That is, quite honestly, was shocking to me after training camp, preseason, college tape. He gets rid of the ball quick. And that's a big, huge plus if they blitz. Right? If they blitz, it's a huge, huge, huge plus. My biggest worry is, when's he going to hold the ball a little bit to look downfield, right? Because you need to take your shots downfield. There's times, multiple times, that Alec Pierce was open when Anthony Richardson was playing. He was open multiple times last week with Gardner Minshew. Minshew threw him the ball, you know. One was broken up on a hell of a defensive play. Otherwise, it was a first down near the 3 down the sideline. And the other one, he caught over the middle and jumped over the defender that just hit him, right? So, yeah. Do you think we see the Colts run more man coverage this week? No. Well, personally, I would like to see it because Matt Stafford is very, very, very good against the zone. Donald and I was talking about this. And I think what's more important rather than going zone or man is getting a feel for the pressure. Is our front 4 getting pressure on Matt Stafford? Like early pressure to make him throw a little quicker, right? Because in the Ravens game, in the first half, Gus Bradley blitzed 3 times against the pass. 3 times in the first half. In the second half, he blitzed 14 times against the pass. All right? He changed it up. Now, that's the question. If the front 4 can get pressure, you won't have to blitz as much and have another man in coverage. That's going to help. But you got to get pressure. And I think Gus has finally realized that, right? No matter what happens. Mikey's got this still blowing up. 33-19. Holy cow. That's a huge number. Huge number. Especially with the injuries across the offensive line. I got the Colts scoring like 25 to like 19 or something like that, right? Is what I got the game going. Did you see the Colts sign the new players today? Yes. The biggest one being KJ Hamler, right, to the practice squad from the Broncos. Kind of expected it. They worked him out earlier this week. Kind of expected them to pick him up. He's had injury issues over his course of his young career so far. So that's a thing. But right now I'm kind of happy with where we're at. I just think that we need to open it up a little bit more. That's the big deal. So, but we'll see what happens with KJ. When you interviewed Brandon Graham, didn't he talk about how physical and demanding Philly practices were? Yes. I don't remember if he said it on air, but I remember us talking about it. Yeah, absolutely. Also, been a while since we've seen the Colts show and look prepared. They've looked prepared all week, all year so far in their 3 games. I felt like they looked prepared. I thought they looked prepared against Jacksonville. They were just inexperienced, right? That game was actually closer than what it should have been. One interception turned the game late in the game. If it wasn't for that pick 6, Colts would have. I feel like the Colts would have won that game, even though the Colts lost by like 10. I still feel like that was a 14-point swing or a 10-point swing at least, and that was late in the game. Both his injuries were ground impacts. Exactly. Amari Rodgers. Yeah, I know. Amari Rodgers activated to the 53. That's fine. We'll see what happens. I still think that our starting 4 wide receivers that we have on. I mean, you want 5 guys at wide receiver in case someone goes down, right? Winfrey was the guy last week, I think it was, that came up. Now they're bringing Rodgers. I think it has more to do with what they like versus what they've seen in the film against specific defenses of teams, right? Last week they liked Winfrey's skill set more against the Ravens as opposed to Rodgers' skill sets more against the Rams. I mean they're prepared this year compared to several of the years. Yes, I'll give you that. 100%, bro. 100%. Absolutely. All right. What up, LaRon? I think last week he did step up, and I think he stepped up all week or all year. He's been out there. He's been playing. He just hasn't had the targets. He's been open, like wide open multiple times. Just hasn't been he hasn't been the 1 or 2 on the progression chart, right? Usually the progression chart goes Michael Pittman, tight end, then him, right? Or Michael Pittman, slot receiver, tight end, him, right? And that's the problem because the Colts have been trying to get rid of the ball so quickly. Last week, he did a pretty good job. I don't feel like he did much of anything wrong in that game. Plus, dude goes out there and blocks his ass off on top of it. Kind of like the way Michael Pittman Jr. does. So, I do feel like he needs to be stronger at the catch. I'll give you that. I think he needs to be stronger at the catch and bringing it in and be stronger bringing it in, right? That way he completes the catch so that less chance of the defender coming in swatting the ball out. But Freedom First comes in and says our defense is going to win this game. And I feel like if the front 4 can get pressure, they certainly will. Because Matt Stafford, no pressure, Matt Stafford's going to throw 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. If our front 4 could get pressure, we get pressure on him, he'll throw for 225 yards and 3 interceptions. You know, I mean, it's that drastic of a swing from pressure to no pressure, right? So that's on Gus Bradley. You know, if that front, you're definitely going to see the first few drives. Are we getting pressure? You know, he's going to try out the first couple drives of just using his front 4. He might slip a blitz in 1 or 2 of those 1 or 2 plays of those drives, but for the most part, it's going to be front 4 stuff. Speed and Franklin need to stay alert for those passes across the middle, and it's going to happen all day, especially with their young guy, Nakau, right? Oh, my goodness. Puka Nakau is something interesting. I'll tell you that much. Something interesting. I don't know if Tyler Higbee's going to play, so that's a big thing. He's been dealing with an Achilles. He'd had limited practice on Friday, but didn't practice the rest of the week. But Tutu Atwell, dude's a burner. All right. Tutu Atwell is a burner. And he's not a guy. He's not a guy. I feel like you got to put Dallas Flowers on him. Right. I feel like you absolutely have to put Dallas Flowers on him. I know that, you know, Tutu will slip inside most of the time, but I got a feeling. Look, I know that Kenny Moore's played really well this year so far, but Kenny ain't got the speed to deal with Tutu. All right. I think if you're going to play man, you have to put Dallas on him. Dallas has the speed. Plus, he's way more physical, right? He'd get up in your face. I would rather have Dallas on Tutu than on Nakau. If I'm going to put someone on Nakau, that would be, you know, one of two guys, right? I would put Kenny on him or even Juju on him, right? That's just my thought process. You think you or Donald could get a current or former Colts player to sit down and pregame analysis? Would be awesome to get a perspective from a defensive-minded guy. I know you asked that question before. Kind of difficult. When it comes to former players, that's possible. Current, kind of difficult, right? But I am a defensive-minded guy. That's where I sit. That's why I was so excited about Donald Thomas being on the show, because he's an offensive guy, offensive lineman. So you got a defensive-minded guy in me who's used to play football, granted not at the pro level, but still played. And I understand the defense side of things much more than I do the offensive side. And then you got him, who understands the blocking schemes better than I do, right? And the running schemes and things of that nature, which is so exciting. But we're definitely going to have some guys on throughout the year. We've been reaching out, so we'll see what happens. Probably not on a consistent basis like last year when we had, Rodney McLeod on. Rodney actually reached out and asked to be on with us. We didn't reach out to him. He reached out to us, and it was a pleasure and an honor to have him on. I learned a lot from him. He's Speed. I was high on Granson when others weren't. So was I. Still high on Pierce. Good for you. Defense and special teams will win the game. Don't forget about Matt Gay. Ain't nobody forgetting about Matt Gay. Mikey. Nobody forgetting about Matt Gay. I promise you the Rams fans ain't forgetting about Matt Gay. Right? They're probably pissed off that he's a Colt. But it is what it is. Sliding through here. Juju Brents did a great job last game. Love seeing the Colts punch the ball out. Yes, but he did play a little soft on a few plays. Okay, where I feel like he probably, had he played a little bit tighter, again, young, still understanding his own scheme, still understanding how to play at an NFL level and recognize things, recognize when a player is going to cut early or cut back or something of that nature. So I understand. So I'm not going to be too hard on him, but I feel like had that been Kenny Moore on the guy that Juju was on, it would have been a pass breakup or an interception. But I do love Juju's physicality and his, playing till the whistle, and I feel like that with more experience, Juju's only going to get better. And I love Juju right from the get. Like I said, when I saw him in camp, I was like, this dude's solid. Dude's solid. Those vowels get overwhelming. Dude, I can't pronounce anybody's name properly, There's guys on the Colts I don't even pronounce properly, the backup 3-tech that we drafted this past year. I still don't. I still try not to even, Ada. I'm going to call him Ada. All right. I mess his name up all the time. Owen, what up, Freedom? Do you think Shane is telling Gus to play more man and blitz more? To me, it seems like it. I think I would, and I'm going to tell you this. All right. He didn't blitz as much week 1 and week 2. He blitzed week 3 because he was recognizing that Lamar wasn't handling it well. All right. That's why it happened. I don't think Shane is telling Gus Bradley how to do his job. All right. You don't have an offensive-minded guy telling a defensive-minded guy how to do his job. It is what it is. I feel like Gus is still evolving. He's been a defensive-minded guy for how long? And he is still learning and still trying out stuff with the guys he has. He's realizing I have a lot of damn speed on this field, and blitzes could come in quicker with this team than, teams I've had in the past, right? So it's possible. And I'll tell you something else. He's blitzing, not just man blitzing. He's zone blitzing most of the time. Most of those 17 blitzes that he had against the pass last week, his defense was still in zone defense. He was in like freaking what was now obviously when you're rushing 6, when you're sending a monster blitz or an all out, something of that nature, like what they were running, they ran, I think, 4 or 5 times. They sent 6 guys. You have to play man at that point. But you can still play zone by blitzing a 5th dude. And most of those, he was playing zone. You know, he was running a cover 3 blitz scheme when he was running that. And they were effective, very effective. Very happy about that. Thanks, Migsby. What up? I like Brent's. I hope hoping Rodney Thomas breaks out. Nick Cross too. They let him play. Flowers should do better going against the number 2 receiver. Flowers has been on the left side the whole time. Or yeah, the number 2 outside this whole time. He always has been. And the thing is, if you don't hear Flowers' name, which we haven't basically heard Flowers' name all year, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Granted, he's not getting the interceptions, right? But he's not allowing completions, and he's covering so well that guys ain't throwing to him. Dallas Flowers, I think, has been very, very, very underrated this year as a defender. Very underrated. And yes, Kenny Moore's been playing very well too. Is this Colts D-line better than Seattle D-line? Yes. Now, our secondary is not better than their secondary by any stretch of the imagination. But our D-line is better. Our linebackers might be about equal. All right. I feel like we have pretty damn good linebackers. But Seattle had really good Seattle's got a guy that's getting a gold jacket, right? On that. So at linebacker. But yes, our defensive line is better than that Seattle defensive line easily. What up, Kirk Jeffers? Appreciate you being in here. Says, what's up? Predictions tomorrow's game against the Rams. I say 28-17 Colts. All right. Well, we've been in here for 33 minutes. I think it's time to do that. I'm going to end up ending this stream here in just a few moments. But before I do, want everybody, please remember, smash that like button. All right. Helps with the analytics, get more people in here. And I am going to say that the Colts win 25-19. That's my prediction for tonight's game. Anyone else want to drop that off? I would really appreciate it. All right. Don't forget, I have my film room, right, that I just dropped on Patreon, where I broke down every single pass blitz, all 17 pass blitzes that Gus Bradley called against the Ravens this past week. Just dropped it today on Patreon. You can go check out Patreon right here in the description of the video. It's only $5 a month. That's less than a cup of coffee from Starbucks, right? And you get a lot of extra content. Appreciate each and every one of you. So I say 25-19. What does everybody else say? I don't know. How many tackles Franklin getting in this game? 12. Mikey's got 33-19. He's already said that earlier, but he brought it back, so I'll show it again. All right, who else got numbers? I got 28 people in here. There should be 28 predictions right in the chat. All right. Come on, guys. Let's see it. What's up, Ron? He says hi. I'm going to say hi back. LaRon, if I'm mispronouncing your name, I apologize. Hopefully I'm getting it right. 28-24. That's good. Rams got to be able to run the ball. Their offense, I don't see them running the ball. I don't either. 28-14. Awesome. Reserves got 20-17. Freedom's got 23-17. All right. We got some predictions in. Appreciate each every one of you. I think that's going to do me for today. Don't forget, come check out Colts win 24-20. See you tomorrow for the game. Absolutely. I will be doing my live game reaction tomorrow, obviously. And obviously you could join my Discord to watch the same stream that I'll be reacting to. Adrian, 27-21. I think that's going to do it. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. This was Colts Law. And as usual, I want you to have a good one.